What's up, y'all? I'm back for another video. Originally, I was gonna review Ironclad today. I'm doing that tomorrow, and I just couldn't get to watch it today. So I'm gonna do that tomorrow now. Um, so today, is gonna be, and I obviously couldn't put a list together because I didn't plan to. So the list will be back next Monday. So today, it's more of a discussion video because I was thinking about this. Minus Godzilla minus one just came out, and the other night I was thinking, like, man, imagine if Jurassic Park got the Godzilla minus one treatment. That's probably what this video is gonna be called. Jurassic Park needs the minus one treatment, and obviously, I'm not saying do the same thing, but we need a more serious tone. Get some good human characters. That's one of the things that made Jurassic Park was you had strong human characters. Even I know some people don't like the sequel, really, but I think Lost World, for the most part, had good human characters. And I just think what made those films kind of set apart from and I was one who defended some of the new movies. I like World still. Fallen Kingdom to me is the last one, but it still has a major problem. One of my big beefs with these new films is how much they have made the T-Rex. Because I've been saying this a lot for a while. Make the T-Rex scary again. Make the Velociraptor scary again. One of the things, the T-Rex, and I think that's one thing that made what minus one did. This is the scariest version of Godzilla in my opinion. Oh, let me see something. There you go. But yeah, this is the best, scariest version of Godzilla. Like, Godzilla was a fucking monster in every sense of the word. Like, you feared him. Like, I'm not saying you don't really fear, because obviously in the legendary is what I meant to say. The legendary movies, he's a good guy. So you're not necessarily supposed to be scared. Granted, as much as I hate 2014, some of the moments you see him, there are some moments that could be scary. But Godzilla, in this one, in minus one, was like, he was scary, man. Like, when he appeared, you were like, oh shit. Like, compared to, like, that's why I'm going back to, like, those first few Jurassics. When you first see that T-Rex, you're like, you shit your pants, man. That breakout scene, or even the scene in The Lost World when the Rex pair showed up at the trailer. That was an oh shit moment. Even people who don't like that movie even have to say that moment, the T-Rex is fucking amazing. Same with the Velociraptor, that kitchen scene, or even the scene before the kitchen scene when they killed Muldoon, the clever girl scene. The raptors were scary. I almost argue they're a bit scarier because they can go inside buildings and how intelligent they are, and they can drag out your death. Because T-Rex, for the most part, can eat you pretty quick. Raptors can drag it out. So that's what makes it scary. And it's like, unfortunately, the new movies didn't lean into that. They went into, let's make the T-Rex is basically a fucking superhero now. Like, he comes there to Deus Ex Machina save our leads. Did it all three basically. I was fine with it in World, because World was more released by Claire. Fallen Kingdom did have one moment which was kind of scary, when the T-Rex in the beginning, when it was stalking the one dude in the island. I thought that moment was kind of scary, but that was a moment. You don't, unfortunately, for the rest of the trilogy, you don't get a moment like that. And then Dominion is just there to save them from the Giganotosaurus. So it's like, the T-Rex is just there to be Deus Ex Machina hero now. It's kind of cringe. The T-Rex, it's like they didn't learn from the reason the T-Rex, quote unquote, saved the people in the first one was more because they saw, two reasons. One, because it was hungry. They saw the raptors as prey. But I also think the other reason is because the raptors were in its territory. So it wasn't saving the people. And then you don't get a moment like that in the second. The second one, the T-Rex is a fucking menace. It was just trying to kill people. And that's kind of what the T-Rex needs to get back to. Kind of what people say about Godzilla being the force of nature. I think the T-Rex should be that for the dinosaur equivalent of it. The Tyrant Lizard King. The T-Rex used to set fear into you. Just even the name. Like, just think of a scene where you have someone hiding, like, behind a rock or a building, or in a building, behind a wall, something, and they're looking out, the T-Rex is sniffing away at them. You just hear his little snarls and his little roars and his grumbles. That could be a scary fucking scene. Like when the T-Rex first breaks out, that is an intense scene. Or when it attacks the trailer, or when it kills Eddie Carr. That initial moment when Eddie Carr is like surrounded by both sides by two T-Rexes, that's when you like know he's fucked. There's really no moment like that with the T-Rex in the newer movies. I mean, even the scene at the beginning from Fallen Kingdom, which was cool, but really you didn't think he was gonna die. But I just think we need a film like that, but for Jurassic. Make not just the T-Rex and the Velociraptor, just the dinosaurs in general. The dinosaurs are just should be kind of scary. Even the herbivores. An angry Triceratops can be fucking scary. They're herbivores, so they're not necessarily meant to be scary, but they can be. I mean, just in the real life equivalent, there's, you look at hippos. They're the animal that has killed most people, and they're not like predators like that. So, like, think of the dinosaur equivalent of hippo would probably be a Triceratops. Triceratops has a hair trigger. If you get in its territory, it will kill you. And you can make a crazy, like, it charging at somebody. And I think the other thing, like, what what -1 did for human characters. You wanted all the humans in -1 to live. You didn't want one of them to die. You weren't like, okay, these are all expendable characters. You wanted them all to live. And the only Jurassic Park film I think that's truly nailed that is the first one. Because I love Lost World, but there's even, like, Nick Van Owen. I wouldn't have minded if he died. Just because you kind of look at what he did on that island, and you kind of realize he got everybody killed because of his cringy activism. So, I think, really, only the first one was, like, the one where you had, like, you don't want any of these people to die. And I think we need to get back with that. You get a strong group of characters you can get behind. I'm not even saying you have to give them the whole arc like they did Koichi in -1. I'm not saying I need, like, all that. It doesn't need to be exactly like that, but just, you gotta get characters you want. You don't want them to just be expendable, because at that point, that can get boring. I'm all for, like, carnage, violence in movies. But that can get boring if you don't care about the characters. After a while, you're just watching bodies just get eaten. You're just watching random humans just getting eaten by dinosaurs. That can get boring. You want characters that you actually want to root for. You want them all to live. And I think that's what we need for Jurassic. Jurassic just needs, like, it also just needs to lean into, like the books. The books has some of the scary, like, I think personally, I still think the movie is a bit better than the books as a narrative. But the one thing the books, I think, have over the movies, they are not scared to go there. The dinosaurs in the books are legit forces of nature, like almost all of them. Even the compies, because there's one scene in the book, the end of the first book, a mom, because the dinosaurs get released on the mainland, one of them being compies, a mom finds her baby being eaten by compies. And it was just a crazy scene. Or Nedry's death in the books is far more violent. Like, he gets like gutted and pretty fucked up by the Dilophosaurus. I'm just saying, like, I think if the movies leaned into that, do an R-rated Jurassic Park. I'm not saying every Jurassic Park film, like, you can do, like, you have your Camp Cretaceouses or whatever. Like, like, Netflix, Universal with Netflix doing those, like, little animated Jurassic Park shows, which I didn't really like, but if you're a kid, I can see liking. So it's like, just do that. Like, Jurassic Park needs to go back to its more horror roots, because it has horror elements in it, and they just don't lean in it. The book, especially. And you gotta go lean into the fuck ups of man, and man shouldn't fuck with nature. That's the other thing. I feel like the new movies don't lean into the whole human element of it. They just kind of humans made dinosaurs. They try to do, like, I almost call it, like, surface level acknowledging of that kind of those themes from the other movies, but it's very surface level. It's very basic bitch, I would love to see them. Obviously, I don't need it all. And I think, unfortunately, some of them will lean into, like, the animal rights shit, which I'm not saying that shouldn't be there, but I think you can't lean too into that. I think there's other things like how man made, how man fucked up, and you can't create, and man can't be God. That's kind of what the whole point of these movies were. And I just don't think they try to touch on it, but very surface level. They want them to lean into it. Because one thing the books really leaned into that was that, and I would love to see that in the movie. That's why I was just like, God, like, that's why I was saying -1. It needs the -1 treatment. Because look the shit it handles, the themes with Godzilla and, post World War II and all that. I just would love something like that with Jurassic where it leans into those themes. And I just don't think they want to. Like, I think at the end of the day, they want to just make it for kids, but they don't understand. I was a kid watching Lost World. And that's easily the darkest of all the movies. And I want more movies like that, but I think it's like even darker a little bit. Have a tragedy in the end of the film, have some good, make, like, the biggest one for me is make the animals scary again. Because a scary T-Rex scene would just break the internet. Same with the scary Velociraptor scene. I think if we can lean kind of back into what these animals originally were in these first few movies, first two movies, the closest we kind of got with scary dinosaurs, maybe Indominus Rex and Jurassic World, but even then, I don't think they fully leaned into it. And it wasn't around, like, it was around a lot, but they didn't have enough scary scenes like that to where it was flat out scary. I needed more, like the scene where, like, it was like you used to have Claire and Owen hiding from it while it sniffs. That was a good scene, but we didn't get a lot of that. I needed more of that, or even like the scene when Owen's under the truck and it's. I needed more scenes like that, and I kind of want to lean into that with Jurassic. These are scary animals, and I just don't think they want to lean it. They want to make it for kids, so we can't make the T-Rex scary. We gotta, I don't know, make it. It's like I'm gonna say it again. The T-Rex is a superhero now. Same with the Raptors. They were basically like a little mini Avengers team. It was so bad. It's, like, we need to go back to them being scary. Because a scary raptor scene would be incredible again. Because I think the raptors, theoretically, are the scariest dinosaurs if you think about it. They can get into buildings. How intelligent they are. The fact that, just even the sickle claw and the way it stalks you. And the fact that you probably realistically can't outrun it. Like, there's just so much little things that makes the raptor the scariest, and they don't lean into it. The new movies didn't lean into it at all. The raptors were just never scary. That's why they try to make the whole Indoraptor thing, because like, oh, we have somewhat a scary Velociraptor, but it wasn't a real raptor, it was a hybrid. None of the and then Dominion tried with the whole Atrociraptors thing, but they only had like one scene, and they weren't scary. And it was and they also had them during the day, which was stupid. Granted, to be fair, the Muldoon scene was scary, but they did it in a way where it wasn't too bright, so I think that's why it worked. It wasn't like this scene was like straight up middle of the day, and it just didn't work for me. It works if you're gonna do a day scene, do it like later in the day where it doesn't look uber bright. But yeah, I just think Jurassic Park needs that treatment. I think if they did it, that can revitalize the franchise. You look at what's happening with Godzilla -1 and now Godzilla. Like, we have a Godzilla film that's, I'm going to say it, cinema. I think the original cinema too. But this one was cinema in a way that like, Godzilla needed something like this. I love the other films, but this is like, wow. I want that for Jurassic Park, man. I think if they leaned into that with Jurassic Park, that franchise could be saved. But they don't want to do it. I think they want to stick with, I don't know, they don't want to make the T-Rex too scary for kids. There's a lot of kids who watch that original Jurassic Park and that breakout scene, or even going to the kitchen scene in Jurassic Park. The fear is what made that movie so iconic, everything else too, but like the element of fear is what made it work. Like you were with, Lex and Tim when the Raptors were stalking them in the kitchen, you know? And I just think, and that's one thing Jurassic Park needs back is atmosphere. Strong human characters that you don't want to die. You don't want just expendable people just getting eaten by dinosaurs. Because after a while, that's going to get boring to me. So, as much as I love Dino Carnage, but at some point, that's going to get old just seeing dinosaurs eat people. You need something more than that. So, yeah, you need strong human characters because that's what made that first one. And I even think Lost World, for the most part, had strong human characters. Not everybody, but, Roland, Malcolm, even Sarah Harding, even though she made some dumb decisions, I still like her character. Even some of the ancillary characters like Dieter Stark, even though he's just a dude, or the guy who knew about the dinosaurs. I think if Jurassic leaned back into that, we can have a franchise again. But I don't think they will. So, anyway. And honestly, you know what? I'm going to say it again. Make an R-rated Jurassic Park. I'm not saying make every Jurassic Park movie R-rated, but the one I'm talking about needs to be R-rated. Jurassic Park can easily be an R-rated. I'm not saying it needs to be like Rob Zombie, Saw, like R-rated, where it's just gore. But I think an R rating could work, like kind of like Alien R rating. Think like that, Anyway, I just wanted to talk about that. Tomorrow I'll be reviewing Ironclad. It's a movie my friend Steve recommended me to watch. He also recommended me to watch Das Boot, which I'm gonna watch later in the week. And if it's really good, I'm probably gonna review that one sometime next week. Though next week I'm gonna say this: I'm gonna start like the Christmas themed reviews next week. So, like Krampus, I'm going to be doing like Jack Frost. And the reason my thumbnail is this garbage day, I'm thinking next week we're going to be doing, that might be the one I'm going to kick off with. I know it's a weird one to kick off with, but Silent Night, Deadly Night 2, garbage day. That's why that's my thumbnail for the month. But anyway, yeah. So I just think Jurassic Park needs the -1 treatment, and I think that can save the franchise. So I just wanted to talk about that. Because I still wanted to do a video today. But alright, y'all. Tomorrow, like I said, Ironclad review. And yeah. But other than that, guys, I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.